Hello there, friends. Good night. Good morning. Whatever it may be, wherever you're at, welcome to Strangers in the Night, your source for late night VR gaming talk. I, of course, am your host, Wes, and with me, as always, are my good friends. Eric, how you doing tonight, brother?
What is going on, fellas?
Hey, you know, bro, doing what we do, hanging out in front of cameras and lights. What's up with you, Roots? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I got everything situated with the new hard drive, and I think everything's good. I'm hoping there's no hiccups. I know Eric was having internet issues last night, and I just want a smooth stream for once. Like that green box, please stay green the whole time, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, mine was red the whole time last night with my one upload speed.
You imagine you're watching, you're not in VR, and you're looking at that box that whole time, and it's very stressful to try to do a stream. Well, you either see jovial Roots, and that's because everything's running good, or grumpy looking Roots, and that's because he's looking at that box.
Yeah, I try not to think about the boxes when I'm here. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be here, man. It seems like it's been a while, right?
It has been a while. We skipped Wednesday. It's been a while since we've seen Eric. Eric's been like flying all over, jet setting the world. And
You guys are slackers. You were like, I want the day off, and I'm gonna take Sunday off. There's no news. There's lots of news, but Wes is like, I want the day off.
Come on,
I'll tell you
man.
what.
Yeah.
When Wes suggested it to me, you saw
Roots
that
is
Roots
like-
you saw Roots wasn't like no. I was like that's why I decided to switch over to a new fresh install of Windows 11, because I had all that extra time. So
You can't force it, right? If it's not there, it's not there. You can't force it, otherwise it'll be garbage.
yeah, sometimes we need a break.
Yeah, Traveling Man says everyone left me alone with Wes. Everyone got scared and ran away. You should have been scared, man. I was kind of off in my own little planet last night. By the time we got to the end of that, our match in Walkabout, and Eric, I mean, he really was off in La La Land. I had to call out a search and rescue team to find him, but we did make our way back to one another. Yeah.
Yeah, finally we got back in. I said, screw the stream, and just went and played some After the Fall.
Yeah, got our ladies, my wife and Cheeto Wendy. We
Cheeto
hung out.
I love Cheeto Wendy.
Who doesn't love Cheeto Wendy? I'll tell you what, I felt bad because I fell asleep and woke up, and it was like almost over, and so I went into some World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic preparation for Wrath of the Lich King. Got to get my character to level 70 before September 26th.
Playing
Nice.
flat or in reshade.
Right now I'm doing flat. I'm going to go back and forth, but I've been doing both. So I really enjoy the game in general, and so I just went to the Outland, made it to the Outland last night, and been getting my ass kicked. I picked this is kind of cool. I picked a PvP server. It's West Coast, but it's the biggest role playing server, and it's balanced. It's like really close in numbers. So it's a PvP server. So as I'm leveling, all of a sudden, there's these red guys that just start kicking my ass, and then I'm dead, and I got to run back to my body, and then it happened again, and then I called my guild. So just random people that I joined. It was cool. It's fun.
We've lost Roots again, Eric.
He's gone. He's gone. He was completely VRified for a while.
Oh yeah, I go back and forth. I've been playing a lot more VR. I tried to go. Oh, and this is another tidbit I was going to see. I didn't see in the Discord today. Nobody mentioned it, and I didn't know if it was taboo to mention it because we went on a tirade for Luke Ross, but he released his new game, his next game.
That's right.
Final
That's
Fantasy VII remaster or remake or whatever the game is. And
Yep.
so I tried to install the new mod because people were raving about how great it works on Elden Ring, and it didn't work for me. It's not
Really?
great. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I know they just did a new patch, so maybe they broke it, but
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but when it comes to these mods and screwing things around, sometimes they just get messed up with the updates, and you have to, just completely start fresh, which is a pain in the ass for with a big game like Elden Ring to have to delete it and reinstall the thing over again just so you get the mod right. So
Yeah,
who
well,
knows?
How long do you think until Square Enix says boo and he dumps it?
Well, it depends. Yeah, that's the thing, man. That's the whole thing. It's like, I'm watching everybody talk about how great Final Fantasy VII is, and or not everybody, but they're talking about the new Spider-Man game, and I'm thinking how good. He's talking about these games like they're going to be there forever. Well, Luke, that's what you talked about Red Dead too. Like if I didn't have that mod already and somehow it was broke, I'm fucked. I can never play it again in VR. And so I think it's a valid question, Mash. How long until they take that, especially Sony. Spider-Man. You don't think they're going to bring Spider-Man VR out if he decides to do a mod for Spider-Man, which it comes out in a couple days, and he's talking about doing it or trying. How long is that going to be lasting as well?
It'll last until Wired Magazine does an article that says he makes $20K per month doing Spider-Man.
He should have just kept his mouth shut. That's so true. Simon wants to know how Reshade doesn't get you banned in multiplayer. I researched it. World of Warcraft does not see Reshade as a threat, I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, it's really kind of unintrusive that way. I mean, I'm not. I'm a layman when it comes to the code or of the whole deal, but Reshade, it's really simple. And I guess when we talk about Reshade, we should be clear here. We're not really talking about Reshade. We're talking about an application of Reshade called Super Depth 3D, and all it really does is it takes your standard monitor output, splits it in half, and just skews the point of view by a few degrees on both to give you the illusion of depth, and it works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I need to tune it in though for that game, and any game that you're using your mouse, at least for me, that the cursor is a little bit off, and so like I have to click the box a little bit off to the side, and that can be a problem. I would never probably like raid in VR and World of Warcraft, but I'd love to quest. Questing sucks. Everything that you said about Zenith quests needing to be more deep and all that stuff doesn't apply to me. I don't read the quests. I just, I skim it. Okay, where do I need to go? What do I need to kill? They got some elaborate story on why I need to kill these plane striders and take the beef back to the fucking chief for whatever. I don't care. I just want to take my shit back there and level up, because like I said, MMORPGs, the game starts at max level when you're doing dungeons and raids and the end game content, and that's what I'm excited to play for Wrath of the Lich King.
Traveling Man 3775 says would be awesome with BioShock. Gotta play it, Roots.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think maybe that's going to be one of the games we're going to put on our list, right? I think
so, man.
Everybody gets to choose one. I just chose tonight's, and maybe when Wes chooses his, he could choose.
Who gets to choose next week?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Not me.
I'm pretty much down for everything. You didn't choose the mod this week, did you, Roots?
Not the mod. I meant the old school. You're right. You're right. I the old school game, the best of the best.
So I guess we should fill everyone in here on what we're doing and what our format's kind of going to be going forward for the short term. And you may have heard us talk about this a couple of different times in the past. The next gen's going to be here soon. As soon as Sony cuts the ribbon and we're off to the races, there's going to be new game after new game, big budget AAA VR games, and we're going to have our hands full with that. But up until then, we want to kind of pay homage to the best of the first generation of VR, because there's a lot of new players that have come into VR over the last couple of years, through Oculus Quest, let's be honest. But these people are waiting. They're waiting for the age of AAA VR to get here. They're waiting for big budget VR games. And what many of them don't know is that we already had a wave of big budget AAA VR games. They come at the beginning, 2016, 2017, 2018. Before Quest got here, we were getting big budget VR games semi-regularly, and they stand as the best in VR's catalog to this day. So, going forward, until the next gen gets here, whenever that may be, whether it's October, November, or early next year, we're going to spend our time each week covering a classic VR game. And I don't mean like hidden gems from Gen 1. I mean the best that Gen 1 had to offer, be it on PC or on PlayStation. We're going to cover these games. We're going to continue on with our mod series. We're going to try to hit a new mod every week. And then when there are new releases, we're going to hit those too, although we didn't really have anything new this week. So we're just doing the classic game and the mod. But that's what we're going to plan on doing here going forward. Roots, I kind of feel like it's a throwback to the spirit of the original Virtual Strangers program when we first started. It was to highlight these old great games, and I feel like we're coming full circle here with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for, like you said, there was no limit on the hidden gems. We just wanted to show people in general these amazing games that maybe fell through the cracks. While the reality is all these amazing, like Wes said, best of the best games. I guarantee you there's someone out there who's like, I don't know what Edge of Nowhere is. I know because I've brought it up several times and most people are like, what's that? And I'm like, oh my God, like that's one of the best games I've played. And I even refigured that out this week. It's crazy.
I feel like I'm going back in time and catching and being a part of the show early on, because it almost feels like we're doing a Because I Said So.
Yeah.
Remember the Because I Said So that you guys did?
Yeah.
I love that, man.
How cool would it be if well, I was gonna say Alex all of a sudden popped up there, but he wasn't here for that. But the idea is still the same.
Yeah. I got my pick for next week if you want to, if I can pick.
Yeah.
Put it out there, man. What are we doing?
Stormland.
Oh my God. That's gonna be
I'm so down.
Yeah, not only be cool to talk about, but that's multiplayer. That's 3-person multiplayer, right?
Is it 3?
I'm pretty sure. I thought you could.
Can you do 3?
I thought
you
you
could definitely do 2.
I could have sworn.
That'd be cool if you could do 3, but I think
maybe it is 2. I could have sworn I did 3 at one point. I know me and Scion beat that game together. That was crazy.
I would have chose for Mother Sons, and we could all 3 of us got in there, but Roots can't get it to work.
I can't. You know what I need? I need to figure out what's going on with that. It's got to be 12th gen. I tried to go back into it after my new drive, and it's still not working. So,
Guido7335 says, I'd like to see some gameplay on Rush of Blood. Well, you know what, friend? Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah. That's an amazing
That's a
game.
good one too, man. I love it.
But yeah, man, I'm totally down for Stormland. I actually never finished that one, and I had pretty extensive amount of time in it, but I never saw it through to the end. We were spoiled with riches back then. There were so many great games coming out that we had to move on to something else. But I'm all for revisiting Stormland. Maybe I can even get it to run in Revive, which would be really cool.
Yeah,
That would be
G2.
cool. You can make it look like really good, right?
Yeah, I could do the same. If you get to run a Revive, you let me know, because I'll run a Revive and I'll use the Pimax.
Corporate
I'll let you
Zombies.
know
sick.
soon.
Thank you for bringing that up. Seeking Dawn was fun too. Seeking Dawn was really good. And I'm
never played
curious
it.
to see how. I'm not saying that would make the list, but of the best of the best, really good game. But I'm curious if it would run better on my, because I haven't ran it. I've got a new processor and video card. It might, because it was running pretty good before, not perfect, but it still had a little bit of jank. I'd be curious to see how it runs now. Might have to check
It
that
ran
out.
good. It ran good for me in single player. I had jank when I tried to do multiplayer. Like there would be like things that the secondary player couldn't see that's in the game world. And when you're talking about things like bridges, like
It's kind
you
of
see,
important.
you see your friend walking across thin air and you can't follow them. That's a bad thing.
Well, what was it? Scion and Radio Run. I think when we were playing it was like if you hit the A button at the certain time, it like froze a person. Something really weird happened. So like we're like, don't hit A, or or I don't know. It was like really weird stuff, but definitely a good game though.
There's a lot of good suggestions in chat. I mean, Seeking Dawn is great. I never played it.
Really?
I have
Oh my
it because I
God.
bought it. I bought it on sale, like super cheap, so I have it. Never played it.
It'd be a great
Science
streaming game, man.
Subnautica.
You're gonna be surprised.
Yeah, I have never put some good time into Subnautica. I wish I did, and I would love to go back to the first Vertigo. That was good. That would be a good idea.
Remastered?
Yeah, all great.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've never done Subnautica at all. Period. Not once.
Oh my God, Wes, that's like an exploration dream, and people love the exploration of it, and it's so cool and massive, and gets fucking scary as hell once you get into the creepy parts.
Oh, well, hopefully, here I am saying hopefully we have time to get to all these before the next gen. But the truth is,
Hopefully
I
we
hope the
don't.
next gen starts tomorrow,
I know,
and that
right?
we don't have time to do this at all. But only time will tell. I can tell you that if we don't get another new release before PSVR 2 gets here, we'll have enough good stuff to play between mods and the Gen 1 classics that we don't have to do any more new releases. With that said, though, there's stuff coming, right? We're going to be doing Red Matter 2 here in just a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, is they're so peppered out. When Red Matter 2 comes out, that'll be our new game for that week, and or maybe we'll have two. I mean, it's like we were saying before the show. Not every show has to be an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then it's not every. Sometimes that goes the other direction. Sometimes it's longer because there's so many games to come out. You know
It's
who else
coming,
likes it
though.
longer?
My mom.
Squeeze that in there.
It's coming though. I was telling Wes last night that I talked to our buddy Andreas Julison from Fast Travel Games because I'm going to see him when I'm out in Germany next week, and he said, come. I want you to come by the show, and I want you to come by the booth, but you need to block out some time for me. And I'm like, really? Why? He's like, to do all the demos that we have, you need 2 hours.
Oh wow.
That's
That's
how many
awesome.
games that's how many games they got coming. I mean, literally, when you go to a booth, you usually spend 20 minutes, half
Yeah,
hour
but
tops. If you get
wants
some
to-
words on film, he's like, you need 2 hours. He's like, you got to block out 2 hours. I'm like, holy
What-
shit,
He
dude.
wants to give you this,
gonna
make
be
sure you have
awesome.
enough time. I'm really jealous of the actual trip out there. The flight to Germany sounds amazing. Like actually flying that long. No, going would be amazing, but man, that is a long time. I don't know how these people like GT that 2-3 times a year are flying over here. That's a long flight.
Yeah, it's gonna
Do
be
that.
cool though. It's gonna just be cool to hang out with some people over there because GT is gonna be there. He's working for Fast Travel, so I imagine I'll see him. I'm gonna see him at the booth for sure, but I think we'll see him out too. So
What do you think, Eric? Do you think there's a chance that between now and then, Sony does their big reveal and maybe there's demos out on the floor when you get there?
That'd be cool.
I don't think Gamescom, but I really think PAX West we might see something.
Really? You think they'd skip Gamescom to give demos at PAX?
I mean, I don't know, not that they would skip it, but I don't know if. I mean, I thought we would. If it, I mean, Gamescom is literally next week. I
It
mean,
just depends
the
on when
week
it
the
is,
week
right?
after. That's the week
Time-wise.
after next. Actually,
It's
Bobby, late
right.
next week.
They would have to see, because here's the thing. It has been rumored, and I talked about this earlier. It's been rumored that the next PS5 showcase, the big yearly video thing that they do to highlight PS5, what's coming up, it's been rumored that that's coming in August, right? So in my crazy mind, that's twisting things around to make it all fit where it probably doesn't. It tells me that, well, maybe that's next week. Maybe they do that next week. Maybe a significant part of the PS5 showcase is highlighting PSVR 2, when it's coming out, what games it's going to launch with, and then kicking right out of that, it leads right into Gamescom, where our friends from Fast Travel Games are going to be demoing, what they've got coming up, and they've already said a couple
You need
times
a couple hours, bro.
that they're working on multiple PSVR 2 titles right now.
I know for sure they have headsets, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, I know they've had those for a while, but yeah, man, I'm sure the likely thing is that it's not going to work out the way that I've got it worked out in my head. But it's possible they could announce tomorrow that PS5 Showcase is a week later, and you might be in for a special trip, my friend.
I would
This
lose
is
my
the
shit.
thing.
I really would.
If it's gonna be in October, Not saying it's going to be, but if that is a possibility, it has to, it has to start rolling soon, right? Like we're almost into September already. So, I mean, that thought process is soon going to be fantasy, which I mean, it's
Yeah, and
already
if they do, yeah, and if they do want to demo anything, like demo games or demo the hardware or anything, this is really it coming up. Because after PAX West, there's a couple like small things, not nothing like a big show. I mean, there's a VR awards in December, but that's not a show. That's just the VR awards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
showcases, this is really it. It's Gamescom is the big one. And then PAX is like the PAX West is the biggest PAX. There's like 4 PAXs, I think. But West is the big one, and that already I can tell you it's got triple the VR presence that PAX East has because I didn't go to PAX East, but I had a press pass, so I had all these companies contacting me. And for PAX East, it was all flat games. PAX
Yeah.
West, I have a ton of stuff already set up with VR companies. Resolution's going to be there. Fast Travel is going to be there. Vertigo's going to be there. And then there's a whole bunch of smaller ones that are going to be there too. So I'm sure there's some there that again are going to be there. I haven't even found out yet because we're getting stuff every day. So
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you find out. Are you going to be joining us that week, or are you going to are you going to be able to?
PAX, I will see you. I'll be there. I'll be on the show on Wednesday before PAX. I leave on Thursday to go to PAX. So
I mean for Gamescom. In a couple weeks,
Gamescom,
so.
I probably will not be able to just because time zones will not probably work out.
Oh
for
yeah,
us.
that's true. Yeah, it'll be like 6 a.m. when we go live over there.
But
So,
I
yeah,
will do
I didn't
this.
think about that.
Yeah, I will do this if it works out time wise. Where if something comes up, I'll go live from the floor, and if we want to go like stream it to the channel, if you're around or whatever, we can do that. I'll go if there's something big, if they're demoing something, I'll go live right from the booth with my phone or my camera, and we
Awesome.
can stream it through the virtual strangers channel.
Well, I will be on call and ready for that one, my friend. So yeah, if you got the goods, we'll certainly deliver it to the people.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of the people, why don't we say hello to our friends in chat here so that we can get this show on the road? Scion is in the chat. He says, "I know you guys were not thrilled about Cambria being QLED, but honestly, QLED is a big step up from LCD." So what he's talking about here, Cambria is going to have an LCD panel in it, but they're putting a quantum dot layer and an LED backlight in it. So basically, it takes a standard LCD display and makes it kind of closes the gap between LCD and OLED by allowing for local dimming. It's just a way basically to get brighter colors and blacker blacks. It's not quite on the level of OLED, but it's a hell of a lot better than these standard basic LCD screens that we've had in headsets for the past few years. So yeah, man, I mean, it wasn't that I'm not really thrilled with the Cambria hardware. I'm just not thrilled with that price. It's $1,500. It should have a legit OLED in there, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is. It's going to be. I mean, and then we're going to have other headsets besides the Cambria that are coming. That are going to have better panels than we have now, and going to have better resolution. I think we're going to see a headset drop in September. I'm not going to say which one, but another headset's coming.
Did you see the Pico 4 leaks that Brad put out the other day?
I did.
It looks impressive, doesn't it?
Very much.
GB the talk positive of Squid Cat says we need Q OLED. There you go, man. Put all the letters in there.
Oh yeah.
Dark Angel joining us says all the freaky VR people make the beauty of the world. I agree with that statement, and I resemble that remark.
Hell yeah.
What's up, Guido? What's up, Gabriel 004? Is it mini QLED? No, it's just a regular. It's just regular QLED. Well, I say regular. I think it's a bit customized the way that they're putting it together here, but it's. Well, I think I just said it. It's a regular LCD panel with a quantum dot layer, and it's instead of having a one big backlight. It uses LEDs for local lighting and dimming for the specific areas of the screen. So yeah, I mean, they call it QLED, but it's really an LCD with layers added onto it to make it more LED like. Let's see here. Corporate Zombies here. What's up, friend? Tom Flesh Eater in the house. What up? What up? Corporate Zombie, Traveling Man. I am Roots, whoever that is. Kentucky RC Crawlers, what's up? Mepper's here. Salvador is here. Radio Runt is here. We got a nice little crew. Mickey Barrios is here. Who else? Bluebell. Bluebell stopped by to say hello, as did VR Spry Guy. So thank you, everyone who showed up tonight. Thank you again, Dark Angel, for the donation. We very much appreciate you and love you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
She was playing
Anyway-
Deep Rock Galactic earlier. Every time I
yeah.
see your name on there, Dark, it's always in there.
People keep raving about that, man. They must have improved upon it greatly since I was in there.
You and her got in there a couple of weeks ago, right? Or a
Yeah, it
week
was
ago?
fun. I couldn't get it. I mean, I was having issues. I need to go back in there now that I've got the fresh install, but I was having issues trying to play it in VR with other people. Like, she couldn't see me. Like, the whole thing is just like we do with what was that game? The workaround for Risk of Rain 2, how we had to join through the friends, join the friends game. That's the same way you join for VR in this game. But you can't do that if you can't see them. You know what I mean? It wasn't showing that I was in a game. It was really weird. But then as soon as I got out of VR, I popped up, because then I turned around and she was in the game. I was like, oh my God, she's here. And then we had it's fun. We played for like an hour and a half. It was cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that one's definitely toward the top of the list, right? We'll be getting in on that one relatively soon, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I learned
I'm
a
down.
hard lesson. You really do need all the classes. Like, each person can do a different thing, right? And so, like, we got to a point where we needed to get to this egg, but we couldn't get in there because we didn't have a mechanic or engineer to build a ledge. And I was able to somehow zip line up there with my grappling hook and grab it, but we almost didn't get it. It was close. Really.
So the moral of the story is, Eric, we're falling behind, bro. They're getting all this experience in,
I
and
know.
we're going to be noobs if we wait too much longer.
I know. We actually got in there, me and you, at one point. We just couldn't team up, right? we couldn't pair up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was in the room with you maybe once, but when we tried to go into a level, it would just peter out on us.
Yeah, we went to the drop pod, remember, and it would just it would freeze.
Yeah.
Scion, I heard Quest 3 is going to be LCD, which is my thinking for picking Cambria, but use it for PCVR only unless Deckard comes first. Well, I think Cambria will make a fine PCVR headset, especially if you want to do wireless. I'm sure it'll be great for that. Is it going to be Deckard? I don't know. For what it's worth, Deckard is still just all rumor and speculation.
Right.
We haven't gotten anything official from Valve. I would expect to hear from them soon, but who knows, man? Who knows if that thing even comes out next year?
I'll tell you what, if Deckard's as good as the Valve was, the Index was when it came out compared to the other headsets, I think I'd rather pay that price for the Index than the Cambria, because you've got all those, like you've said before, all those extra options that the Cambria is going to use that I probably won't, but it's the same chip. It's you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really that impressed with the Quest 2. So I don't want a better version of it. I'd rather take the Deckard, something I know Valve is going to take pride in making their headset good.
You know who else loves to take the Deckard?
Yeah.
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
You're just not going to see the Deckard, though. I would very highly doubt that you're going to see the Deckard until sometime next year, if you ever see it at all.
Yeah.
Which I do think we will see it. I do think we definitely will see it. But you're going to see the Cambria this year. Before the end of the year, you're going to see the Cambria. And here's the deal. If you're buying the Cambria, I don't think you're buying the Cambria for standalone. I think you're buying the Cambria as a PCVR headset. So
Right,
if
but
you're somebody right now who doesn't have a good PC VR headset and your choices are the G2 or a Pimax or, I don't know if you would, went crazy and decided to go with a Vive headset or HTC headset. I think, Cambria is a possibility. I mean, if you have the money and you want the highest end of highest end headsets, it's
I'd rather
Cambria
wait for the
headset.
Deckard. If that's the thing, I'd rather have a headset that's made for PC VR specifically with all the fucking bullshit I've had with the hybrid. The hybrid's great. I can play my Quest 2 games on there. I don't need to have another Quest 2 version that's a little bit better with options that I'm not going to use too much and feel like I overpaid for a headset. Like I said, with the exception of the controllers, I feel like Index was the best at the time that came out,
My,
right?
que- m- my question is going to be the cable because I'm not worried about Airlink. My question is the cable. Is it going to be a compressed signal cable, or am I getting a true cable where it's not a compressed signal? Because
That's
that's going to
different.
make the difference to me. Because
Yeah.
then it is a PCVR headset that just happens to do standalone. It's not a standalone headset that, oh yeah, by the way, you can hook it up to your PC. It's the opposite way around. If they put some type of cable, I don't care which kind, whether you do HDMI or whether you do um, something else, I don't care. But as long as it's not a compressed signal, um, I think then you're looking at a PC VR viable headset. But again, it's gonna be $1,500.
They better
Yeah.
make it better for heating then, because the Quest 2 and the overheating and like it gets really hot, and I'm starting to have issues where it's starting to do weird things like artifacting and stuff, or getting like freezing my stuff up, and like it's nothing that I've never had issues that I like with a strictly PC VR. I like today. I mean, I haven't touched my Rift S for 3 days. I grabbed it, put it on, and it fucking worked. You know what I mean? Like even the USB stuff's not really happening with this fresh install. So I don't know. Not that I don't like. I just feel like you're paying a lot of extra money for something, unless you're going to be using those extra features, which I'm sure they're going to be great. I just would rather use a PC VR headset. I'm over meta. I guess that's my point. I just want something else. I don't care if it's
Might be Pico.
HP or fucking Valve, somebody else, please.
Might be Pico.
Maybe
Pico is going to
Pico.
be coming very soon, so yeah, that might just entice everybody to go to Pico. And if you see what Bradley's talking about, he's talking about ByteDance subsidizing the headset like Meta has done for the past 5 years. So that means if they're willing to do that, that means cheaper headsets.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what that means in terms of cheap. I mean, it could be mean that it's $600 instead of $800. We don't know that. But if they get close, if they get $400 to $500 for the what they're touting is supposed to be in that headset, I mean, we could see a really, really big shift here. And Pico could be a serious contender if they have the hardware behind it and the price behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for them as the kind of competitor in the standalone space that everyone's been waiting for. So
Yep.
only time will tell, but I don't think we're going to have to wait very long.
No, we're running
It's
out
going to
of
get
year.
busy. Everybody get their pockets ready because the next 6 to 8 months is going to be fucking crazy for hardware. We've had a drought, and we're going to pay for this drought by having a dearth of headsets that we're all going to want.
How good is it though that when this stuff comes out, we're not going to have people are going to have computers that they can use these headsets. Like everybody should be getting their hardware, and if they're you can even be, I guess at this point, even be waiting a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. I saw there was a 3090 Ti for
TI.
$1199 or some.
I saw one for
fucking crazy.
That's
$950.
nuts.
$950
Yeah.
I saw one for. I mean, it wasn't like an EVGA or anything. I don't remember what brand it was, but shit, $950 for a 3090 Ti.
That's
That was
crazy.
$2,500 3 months ago.
I think that might have been a 3080 Ti, but still, maybe it might. I know on the ad, at least the ad that we were looking at, it's just either way, it's very easy to get video cards right now. So
Mickey Barrio says, I will buy a Pico, but my meta library is too big to abandon. I feel you there, bro. I've got like 150 games on my Quest. Like I don't see myself walking away from it anytime soon. Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. A lot of question marks on the standalone and PC front. I think it's all going to be secondary to me after PSVR 2 comes out. Yeah, we're just going to be talking about what my other headset's going to be, at least for a little while. Anyway, enough talking about headsets. Let's talk about some of the cool things you can do if you do happen to get a brand new PCVR headset. Let's talk about games. And are we starting with the mod this week?
Yeah, we can. I think it's probably better to do that.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this Firewatch mod. Since we started covering mods on this program, people have been making suggestions to us about what the best of the best are, the ones we should really check out. And Firewatch is one that continues to come up week after week, month after month. And it's kind of the reason why we picked it this week. Go ahead and get this one under our belt and see what everyone keeps talking about. This, of course, is a narrative-driven traditional flat game from Campo Santo, which is a small studio that was, I think Valve may have even purchased the studio at this point. These people worked on Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah. They did. They picked them up because I saw in the comments that people were saying that they were sad that they didn't exist anymore, but they were glad that they were part of Valve. So
certainly has a Valve-like feel to the art, and it's a bit of a different art style, but it still kind of has that vibe to it. Is it just me, Eric, or did you notice this as well?
No, it definitely does. You can almost see it in the visuals. You can see it in some of the UI that they're using. For sure. I mean, and it's highly polished. And what do Valve is all about highly polished. Valve is all about take 5 years to make a game and make sure it's the best goddamn game you can play. And this is one of those.
Yeah, high quality, narrative driven. I would say an exploration game, but really, this game roots it's all about the storytelling, right?
Yeah, this is the story is what I'm intrigued. I was actually first of all intrigued by my Homer Simpson hands, but those hands are huge. But yeah, no, the story, man. Like I was feeling myself get emotional in the beginning. Like I really got invested, and what I thought was kind of cool is you actually get to make choices, right? And I'm assuming it all kind of leads to the same place, but it matters because like where you're at because of what's going on in this story, right? You went to this Firewatch place and it's kind of that story's unfolding and why you're there. And I've like Eric and I were saying before the show, like I keep feeling this way about these mods that we play. It's like one of the best mods I've played in VR of this type of game, right? I mean, it's a walking sim, but it's a story. And I don't know. I know I saw Scion VR had put a review on there. I guess he took him about 5 hours to beat this game. And he says in the chat he enjoyed Firewatch in VR. He enjoyed it so much he went and wrote a review about it, recommending it, as did most people that played this game.
The story, obviously the strength of this game and kind of the selling point. But for me, Eric, it was the map, the location, the exploration part of it is kind of what saved it for me. Because you can have a great story, but a great story in a box is just a great story, and you kind of need other stuff to do. And while there isn't a ton of other stuff to do, they put you into this kind of huge map and let you go where you want to go and do what you want to do, and you can progress the story at your own pace. Eric, is this a game?
That is a great question. And here's what I did. I actually played it both ways because I wanted to answer that question of, does the VR make this more of a game for me, or is it a game no matter what? And I had absolutely no fun at all with this game flat. And for me, the VR makes this game. This game should have been made in VR from the get-go. I would not play this game. I mean, the story is great, again, but if the story for me, I would just sit and watch through it, forget about anything else, make it an interactive movie, or just make it a movie and I'll watch the movie. The game itself flat is boring. You're button pressing. It's not about the gameplay. You're doing that stuff just to get to the next part of the story. VR, you're actually doing stuff. You pick stuff up, you move stuff around, you turn it, you grab it. This is way more. This is way more interactive in VR, and it allows you to do things, which does it pulls you through. There's stuff to do here. The interaction's way better in VR. So I know I don't want to jump ahead too quick and get to that point, but uh, that's what made it for me because I was like, I want to try this because I don't know. You know how I am with these games. I need something to pull me in and pull me through. And the story is great, but if it's just the story, make it just a story and I'll sit through it and watch it. But if I'm gonna do interaction, I want to do it in VR. And for me, I would never play this game flat.
Oh, there's no question it's fun. As I was saying a moment ago, the kind of day to day, minute to minute activities um, are what kind of saved it for me. Like the story's great, don't get me wrong, but the fact that there's such an expansive map for you to explore, and there's a lot to see in this park. Um, it kind of all gels together with the story. With you're constantly in communication with one of the other towers, and you get their story as well. It's not just all about your story and what's happening at the park. um, yeah, I would say that the narrative is the meat in the sandwich here, but the map and the exploration is some pretty good garnish. Roots, but from what I could tell, I have yet to encounter a fail state in this game. There's no dying, or at least I haven't encountered a spot yet that I can die in it.
Mm-mm.
Um, it's fun. Well, everything Eric said is true. It's fun to be in this world and do the everyday tasks that push you through it. Um, is it a game though?
I don't think so. And for a couple reasons. One, by main fan standards, that was main fan that always said, he's like, if you can't die in a game, and we kind of had to go back on that with Star Wars. I think one of those games, right? But that's not the real main reason. Like I noticed as I think maybe it was in the Steam reviews or underneath the Steam or in the beginning, they tell you it's a walking sim. They're open about that. This is a walking sim. It's a walking sim with a good story and interactive things to do as well. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think I would probably play this game flat if for some reason this mod was taken away, like Luke Ross was involved with it and he said, you know what, fuck you, Roots, you're not going to play this game in
It's gone.
VR. I really like the story sucked me in so well. I'm like Scion, like the back and forth between the chick and the guy, like legitimately, I'm seeing a love story developing here. And I really enjoyed it. And I got invested in the characters really quickly. My wife is dying, so there's all sorts of crap going on. And it's just this beginning part. And I really enjoyed it. And I would say everything that you love about it, Wes, the exploration, that just gives it, I mean, roaming around these environments, the sounds of nature. I can't remember who it was, somebody in the Discord, I think, or maybe it was in a chat or something. They had said how immersive just being in this world was. I can't remember what their quote was, but I just felt like really at ease and peaceful. And I just really liked it, especially like I came to the part where it was like getting dark and I couldn't see very well. The sunset was going down. This thing, it looked amazing in VR. I'm kind of in that respect, Mash. Like, I don't think that the game would be boring to play through because the story would pull me through, but there's no way I could get the same experience on a flat screen with the lighting and the sun rays coming through the trees, and it was really cool.
Just an extra level of immersion, right? When you get into there, it just makes a difference. It does. It makes so much of a difference. And again, this is not my kind of game. You know what I mean? I'm not really into a walking sim type of game, but I would way more want to do this like that. Like I want to go back to this in VR. I don't think I would go back to this flat. I mean, I again, the story's super cool, and if I had no choice, maybe I would flat. But geez, if I have a choice, it's no brainer. I'm going back in VR, man. This game is gorgeous in VR, and this is how you do a port to VR. By the way, Hitchhiker, talking to you, buddy. Whoever made Hitchhiker, go talk to these guys because that is a flat game Hitchhiker that they completely just like gave up on. They're like, hey, I put it in VR, and it took 10 minutes to do it. These guys did it right.
That book,
Yeah.
the journal and stuff, how cool was that, right? Or I thought between both of these games, I thought the journals were really cool. I was blown away just by the small little details.
Yeah, and it kind of threw me back a little bit as I'm, thumbing through the journal and reading the handwritten notes that I continue to find around the park. It just reminded me that it wasn't that long ago when reading anything in VR was damn near impossible. Remember those days where you had to squint and you still couldn't quite make it out? How far we've come now that we're not only are we playing flat games in the headset, but the headsets are good enough that we can actually sit and read handwritten notes like without any kind of complication at all. For what it's worth, before we move on, I did happen upon another definition of what is a game, and this comes directly from a game developer at a game studio. This is what their definition of what makes a game. It says a game is a voluntary experience that contains at least 4 elements: goals, interactions, obstacles, and rules. And by that definition, I think it's safe to say that this is a game, right?
Yeah, sure. It's got all 4 of those. Definitely fun. Like if I didn't know that one of you already owned this game, I would have not returned it. I just was borrowing it for a little bit to play it for the show because I don't have access to anybody's thing right now because of my hard drives. But it's really good. It's only $20. I seen the biggest thing is I looked it up in Discord and saw that it was on sale for $5 not too long ago, and I missed it apparently. Like fuck, man, I'm not paying $20.
I think I had gotten it cheap. I had gotten it a long time ago when they were teasing the mod, and I think I got it for cheap then too. But so I think it goes on sale quite often. But I think we're somewhere in the middle, right, for this. I don't think it's a walking sim, but I don't know if it's exactly a game. If there's a category in the middle, I'll kind of go to that category.
Yeah, I mean what makes it kind of gamish is the fact that you're just kind of out in this open world, and they give you a little bit of direction with what you're supposed to do, but they don't always tell you where you're supposed to go, and you kind of have to find your way through it. So in that sense, there is, there is challenge here. There are goals, there are interactions and obstacles. So yeah, I mean it's a game. But, does it really matter? I mean, honestly, does it matter if it's technically a game or not a game? It's fun, and it's great in VR. I don't know that I would want to play this flat, but the port is so well done. I mean, Eric, I mean, not only is it seamless and seem like a native VR game when you're in there, but I don't know if I've ever installed an easier mod than this. I mean, literally you drag and drop the exe file onto the mod file and you're done. It does everything for you. It's really impressive.
I think there's only one easier, and that's the Half-Life 2 mod when it's actually a game key.
Yeah.
The mod itself is an actual key to the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably easier, but other than that, this is as easy as it gets. There's no Thunder mod. You don't have to go to any store. You don't have to go to, I mean, it's so easy to do. And mods are getting easier too. When I see mods that are difficult to do now, that's all on the modder, man. Because there's so many easy ways to do it now. To me, it's the modder not wanting to do it easy.
We're talking to you, Deep Rock Galactic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Make it easy,
dude.
dude. Come on.
Talk about
You can do it. All these other mods are easy. I mean, you don't think you could do it easy? You're just not doing it right. You're not putting enough time into it. Like, some people do it. Some modders do it. I guarantee, because they don't want it to be easy. It's like they almost are like, if you can't do it, then you don't deserve to play it. You know what I mean? Or if you got to work for it.
Let me ask you both a question. In what world, well, obviously this one, but how does it make sense that I'm the creep that stumbled onto 2 chicks stripping and doing fireworks in the middle of a lake, and then I'm ready to go yell at them. Actually, I was almost going to go beat the shit out of them. That was one of the choices, I guess. And she's like, no, don't do that. We didn't know they were chicks at the time. And I get down there and they're calling me the pervert and the creep, and I didn't appreciate it. Now I was just looking at the panties. I wasn't taking them.
You weren't gonna wear them?
No, I was not gonna wear them. But I thought it was weird that of all the things, it did let me pick them up, and I was like, oh, this is weird. Maybe that's why. Maybe they saw it around the corner. I don't know. it was a little weird, but that was kind of cool. It was a good. It was that I was not 100% not expecting that in the story. Hopefully, no spoilers there. I didn't want to spoil the plot to everybody.
Gamertag VR in the chat asking which game that we're talking about, and they told him Firewatch, and he says Firewatch. Didn't that happen a long time ago, brother? It depends on what your definition of a long time ago is. Wait till you see what the next game we're going to be talking about is. Firewatch is new, bro.
This is the thing, though, GT, and this is absolutely real. You know, of course, we get distracted by a lot of different things, but the reality is like when everybody else is doing the Firewatch mod, everybody else is doing the Firewatch mod. That's not the best time for us to be doing it. We'll wait a few months and we'll talk about it when nobody else is ever. What are we talking about? It's just a difference of doing it. I just don't like to do everything that everybody's doing at the same time. And it was more because we had all this other stuff.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that there are too many mods and we can't ever decide which one that we want to do. We finally landed on this one. We've literally been talking about it for 3 months. I've had this installed on my machine since January, I think.
I'm kind of pissed actually because I really enjoyed it. I actually went into it today. I was thinking, I don't know if I want to play this. And then I got in there and I started going into the story and I was like, man, I'm like really enjoying it. Now I don't want to get out. And that doesn't happen to me a lot. So it was cool.
How can we find time to play all these great mods when there's amazing cooking simulators out there that we're completely just glossing right over? We've had it. We got to go back to the cooking simulators. That's it. Every week, at least one cooking simulator game, or the new one that I heard is going to be hitting the Steam next week. It's Take a Shit Simulator.
Oh, that would be a good one, I think. I don't know that.
Yeah. Ass wipe simulator. Yeah. Yeah. Virtual bidet. Anyway, no, man, I there isn't a whole lot more we could say about this that without spoiling it. But in that vein, Roots, do you feel you said you feel kind of creepy, sneaking up on these naked girls in the lake. I felt kind of creepy that the whole game is based around me getting to know this chick, and I'm married, dude. Like I've got a wife in Australia, but here I am macking on this chick that's just a few miles away and not putting up much of a fight. Did you feel weird about that at all?
I'll tell you what. That's why I said I felt like there was a romantic thing going on here because the banter from the very beginning is very flirtatious in a way. Very, it's like I feel like these people, they just met, but they're really meshing. Like it's like they've known each other forever, right? And it is kind of weird. But see, I don't know it depends on what the situation is. Because at this point, without spoiling things, I could have already made decisions to where maybe I shouldn't be talking to somebody. But I mean, it's not like that person's going to know. No, I don't know. I don't know, man.
That's rough, bro.
The thing is it's a crazy. I don't know how progressed things have gotten. I don't know how. You know what I mean? So it could be.
That's true.
By the time we find out what's going on, I mean, this might be years down the road. I don't know.
I did notice that every time you go to talk to her on the radio, your radio is in your ring-fingered hand.
Oh,
so you see your.
I did not notice that.
Every time you look at the radio.
Wow.
Just to remind you that you're married, bro.
I'll tell you what, then that's probably probably a good point, man. And this guy, he's like finding reasons to call her too. Oh yeah, I found a meadow. I found an outhouse.
It's a tree.
It's a tree, and she's like, "Oh, good."
You're in a forest, dipshit. Of course, there's trees.
Yeah.
I thought about just walking over to her, right? Because she's at one of these other places. I'm sure you could walk to her tower wherever it's at.
You think it's probably the one that's like 5 miles away or something, right?
Yeah, but you make up ground pretty quick in this game. I don't know if you noticed that. It's a big map, but you move across it fairly quickly if you pay attention to where you're going and actually use the map.
I feel like the dialogue was done very well. The choices, it really gave me the feeling that I was having this conversation. you know what I mean? Like not only that I got to make choices, we've had that before. It just felt different. And that's why it drew me in. I really felt like I'm macking this. I'm trying to find this chick in real life now. She's out there, right? No, I'm just kidding. It was crazy. It was fun.
So Tatum says that, oh, cool. I think this is the same person that did the Outer Wilds mod, and you're absolutely correct about that. I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Raikuparta or something like that.
I think you butchered it.
Yeah, that's
though.
how it's spelled.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it is a free mod. It wasn't originally, but the mod is now open source and free. But you know what? I've enjoyed it so much. I went and threw $1 into the hat. Like, it's worth that to me. And I want to see people like this who don't make people pay for it succeed, right? These people deserve our support.
Yeah,
This
well,
is the way to
Sion
do
says
it.
you can donate. He said he needs to drop $10 to the developer, and he says you can see her from the tower, your tower. You can see her from your tower this whole time. She's right there, Wes.
Oh, really? I have not
Yeah.
noticed that. But I haven't really spent much time in the tower, to be honest. I don't hang out up there. I get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, you want to go?
I was
do your
saying
job.
this is the way to do mods. If I was a modder, this is the way I would do it. Release it early to your patrons, and then eventually release it to everybody. That way you can do a little bit of both. You know what I mean? If anybody wants to play it early, they can be your patrons, they can donate, and then eventually everybody gets it.
That's not greedy, Mash.
That's true.
Not greedy enough.
How are you supposed to make $20K a month doing shit like that?
Yeah,
man?
dude, you can't quit your job and stop doing everything that you're doing. Hey, there's box
Okay.
306. I bet there's some rope.
One,
Oh, never mind.
one, two, three, four.
So Scion says you can see her tower, not like literally her. You
Oh.
can see her tower from the thing there. That makes sense. I've already made it around to a couple other I think maybe one other tower. It was the burned out one in the burn section of forest.
Did you find a little friend?
Found a hat.
What?
You didn't find a friend in there?
No,
Oh,
no
you
friends.
need to open the
just
stove.
a hat. So I see that you made your way around a bit as well, Roots. Even though you didn't progress the story that much, you must have went for a little walk, huh?
Yeah, I roamed around, and I got that's when it got dark when I was coming back from that tower area. And what was cool was, and this is the thing too, that depending on how far you go and when you're looking around, apparently I opened something you didn't, and she went into this big long story. Okay, I'm gonna spoiler alert. There was a raccoon in there. Okay, but she went into this big long story about like this haunted. It was haunted in there. This guy went and he was eating raccoons for. I mean, I swear to God, the story was like 3 or 4 minutes long. Very engaging, right? But you missed it by not. You know what I mean? There's so much more just by exploration. They're giving you more story, which I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's a cool experience all around. One of the better mods that I've tried. Any kind of performance issues for you, Roots, trying to run this in VR?
I cranked everything up all the way, and then I think I turned it down from ultra to high just because it seemed like when I turned my head, it was a little weirdness.
Yeah.
Which you just get used to cranking everything up, and then you realize that sometimes that things are so good that they're like, nah, that's not happening. And then I did notice a couple things as far as like sometimes I would try to use my walkie-talkie, and I like when I would go to click it or click the thing to pick one of my things, it would disappear, and I was like having trouble finding the dialogue again. But for the most part, everything worked really well.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Like I cranked everything up, and there was just a touch of reprojection when you would turn.
Yeah.
And I just backed it off just a little bit, and it cleared right up. Eric, any kind of performance stuff for you?
Same exact thing. I had a little bit of I don't know if I'd call it tearing, but I had a little bit of the same thing on the edges. if I turn my head too quickly. So I just dialed it down a little bit because I had it. I mean, that's what we should be doing though. I mean, with the rigs that we have, we should try and run everything as high. And I
Yeah.
always want to go as high as I can and then just dial it back.
That's what I do.
So yeah,
Well,
I
I'll
just
tell
dialed
you.
it back a little bit
I'll
because
tell
it's
you.
got like a slider bar. You can just
Well, some
slide
games
back.
will lie to you. Like, and they'll
Mm.
tell you, hey, I recommend you go to 8 or something, and you crank it up to 10. Like I did in World of Warcraft, and then I still had max frames on with everything cranked up as high as you can get. Like, you can't always just go by what they suggest. It's better to just test it.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I did run this on my G2 natively. Everything ran perfectly fine. My controllers worked. I didn't have to download any bindings or anything. Everything just worked the way it's supposed to.
Nice.
Same here with the Pimax.
Except for the
I had
rope.
no issues with.
Yeah, the first rope. Yeah, you're right. That one kind of sucked. How about this guy having to rappel everywhere, man? It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you picked a rough job.
Yeah, especially right. Just watching for fire.
0 to 10 roots. The game in a vacuum. Fun factor of the game itself.
I would say probably. I mean, I enjoy fun factor, fun. I mean, I enjoyed it, so I'd say like an 8, maybe 7 or an 8. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the funnest thing in the world, but I really enjoyed the. I just felt peaceful to me as I was, going from place to place, and then there was always good engaging dialogue.
Eric, 0 to 10 fun factor in a vacuum.
Fun factor. I'm gonna probably go about the same, maybe 7 or 8 for fun.
Yeah, I would agree. I would put it at a solid 8. 0 to 10 VR implementation in the mod.
I'd say probably a 9. It's one of the best. It's one of the better mods you're gonna find. And again, there's some bad ones out there, man. There's some bad ones out there that you're still pointing and clicking at everything. You're not touching anything with your hands. You can grab. I mean, you're not physically grabbing it. It's kind of popping in your hand, but you can grab it. You can pull it up to your face. You can look at it. You can turn it. And you have hands. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's really, really good.
Yeah. First-hand interactions. Although it is a bit point and clicky, the things do fly into your hand. So yeah, I'd say 8.5, 9 on that as well. What about you, Roots? Quality of the VR implementation here.
I would say probably the same, 8.5, 9. I mean, the bottom line is everything works, and everything that matters. Oh, there's the bra. Everything that matters is, you want to look at stuff up close. I did not grab the bra. Just a spoiler on that one. There's nothing more frustrating to be in a world and feel like you can't interact with anything, and then you want to look at something up close and you can't grab it. I mean. That should be 101, right? And I think that this one does really well. You can grab everything that you're supposed to grab, and you can manipulate it, look at it, or whatever. So you can take some stuff, some things you can't, like that. Those I wouldn't want to anyway. What a bizarre! I swear to God, of all the things I was not expecting to find out there, 2 naked chicks. Like I was expecting a bunch of guys lighting firewalk. I mean, getting drunk. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you go out there all excited, and they start calling you a creep, and it's like, are they talking to my character, or are they talking to me?
But did you swim out there? No,
I threw their fucking radio in the water and told them to kiss my ass.
I did. I tried to turn off the water. Turn off the radio, and it wouldn't let me turn it off. So
yeah, the water stops it. Finally, Roots, 0 to 10 ease of installation.
oh shit, that's a 10. I mean, this is the thing. You don't even have to have the file in any particular place. It just says, just all you have to do is you can have it on your desktop. Just drag that file in there and drop it. It's done. And so, a lot of mods have to be in specific folders in specific ways. And some people, they don't understand all that stuff. You tell them you take this exe and drop it in this file. I mean, that's easy. So
yeah, it's 10 out of 10, 100% here, because it doesn't even matter where you extract the mod out. You can extract it on your desktop. All you got to do is find the exe file for the game and drop it directly on top of the mod file, and you're done. That's literally all you have to do. Eric, 10 out of 10, ease of installation.
Absolutely, one of the easiest you'll ever do. Like I said, except for the except for the Half-Life 2, where it's an actual game key. But this is super easy.
Yeah, so if those are the three categories, we had a 8, a 9, and a 10. So I would say overall, this is a 9 out of 10 PCVR mod, and 100% recommend buying the game to play it in VR. Would you say that's fair, Eric? People should go buy this and play it.
Absolutely. I don't know if I'd play it flat. If we have the choice, so it's not something we have to make a choice now. But I just don't know if I would play it flat. I guarantee I'm going to go back in VR and play it again because what's going on in the story. Things
Dude,
I think are going to start to get freaky.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to the end of this. And it's not that long, it's not a 20, 30-hour game. So you can get through this in 6, 8 hours. So I'm looking forward to that. And I would never play it. I don't think I'll ever play it flat.
Recommend Roots. People should go buy this.
Oh, hands down. Even at $20, $20 is actually not that expensive. And I mean, it's better than any movie that's coming out besides Maverick these days. So you get to be in the movie and be a character, and like you could develop how you want to be. Like I don't know, I really enjoyed the beginning part. I know I've harped on that, but that, in my opinion, that discussion, or I guess that everything that you're learning and you're choosing, you're choosing your backstory. Why are you out there at this place? What's going on back in your world? Because for everybody it's different, in some respects. I mean, I guess the end result, but how you handled it's different. And I don't know. I just thought it was cool.
Sion says, I liked how the ending wasn't predictable. That's always a big plus, right? Because when you do so many of these games, you even see the twist coming, right? So to have something that legitimately surprises you is always a welcome sign.
Yeah.
Gamertag says you can mod the shit out of Skyrim into a really immersive game. I think at some point during our mod series here, we're going to have to redo Skyrim, man, and just mod the shit out of it like everyone says you're supposed to.
I've done it, and it's really cool. It definitely makes a big difference. I mean, I haven't done it probably to the extent that a lot of these people have, but it could be cool.
Yeah, there's like dozens of mods people put on that. You ever tried modding Skyrim, Eric?
I've done the basics. I've never done any of the like this. I know there's a ton of stuff you can do in there. You can do stuff that for like the combat. You can do stuff for different different implementations of hand controls.
Add storyline. I mean, you can add like dungeons, caves, like even just like bigger, taller trees, weather patterns, dragons. I mean, there's all sorts of flying dragons. Really cool.
So we talk about each week doing a classic VR game, a new release, and a mod. Instead of doing that, why don't every week we talk about Fallout 4 VR, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Skyrim, and we'll just do the same 3 games every week until PSVR 2 gets here.
Yeah, I bet the first couple episodes are very packed full of people, and they start to fall off. I don't know what else. I'll tell you what, Red Dead Redemption 2, I need to get back into that myself as well, because that game is just so good. All of these mods are amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into that one as well, as I'm sure we will before it's all said and done.
Awesome Table says there's a Skyrim laugh track mod, so you can have a laugh track going in there.
These modders, man, some of these mods are just silly. I don't even understand how much time these people must have on their hands to put Homer Simpson in every game on PCVR. Yeah, I don't get it.
That's weird, right?
Anyway, let's move on. That's our mod for the week. What are we doing next week? Did we choose that one yet?
No, I don't think we chose one yet. No, we talked about it. I know it's you chose this one, right? So it'll be either.
I've been choosing. I kind of narrowed it down. I think Eric picked this one.
Okay, so
did.
But
so it'll be either you or me for this one this week or next week.
Anyway, stay tuned. It'll be another awesome PCVR mod. I can assure you of that. But let's move on to this week's classic game. And Root, you did pick this one. And it's a game that we talk about pretty frequently on our show. even in 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. And I didn't even realize. I mean, I realized how good it was, but I've forgotten how good this game is for a lot of reasons. The biggest thing that struck me on when I was just started playing this, besides the fact of how cinematically beautiful it is, and to me, it's a AAA game. I had forgotten how good this game is, but it like I've been talking about this game for a long time and not even knowing it whenever I'm talking about the hybrid games for PlayStation VR too. This is it. This is exactly what imagine this type of a game, but it's Tomb Raider. And you're going through a Tomb Raider adventure or Assassin's Creed, which I'm not even convinced that that's not what we might get this type of game, that you're playing the original game that you've always played, that you love, but you're in this world, and anybody that says it's not the same and the third person is full of shit. You need to play Edge of Nowhere, and you need to realize that you're full of shit. So.
Yeah, you really you start to appreciate that immersive factor that VR brings in, Eric, as you're making your way through these icy caves, and then all of a sudden it changes into a lush rainforest or some old university auditorium where you're studying these creatures that inhabit this place. This plays completely like a flat game, but still, just being in VR, following your character makes a pretty big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this will, when you play this will give you Uncharted vibes. I mean, this is, if they made an Uncharted game, or like Root says, if they did, I would want it to be this way. This is I would want it in third person. I would want it exactly like this, because this is the way to play those games. And the VR implementation in here is perfect the way it is with third person. This is amazing. And I didn't play this game early. I remember when me and Ruth's first kind of started hanging out, he was like, recommending Edge of Nowhere. Go play Edge of Nowhere. It's really, really good. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I went and played it. And it became one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, I absolutely love this game. And this game came out in 2016, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a video today
Yeah.
of Nathy playing it, 2016. And if I'm remembering correctly, Mash, didn't you play it in one sitting? You sat down and
did.
played the entire game, right?
Yeah, I did that. I did Farpoint too. I didn't finish the actual ending of this. I got so close, I just had to stop because it was so long. Had been playing for so long, but yeah, I mean, I got really close. I played through probably 90% of it in one sitting. But it's
Did you?
that good. I mean, the story is that good. The controls are that good. Playing in third person is amazing. It really shows you how a third person game can be really, really good in VR. And when people tell me, they're like, "Oh, you have to be in first person in VR," this is the game I would point to and go play this game, and you'll change your mind.
How about when you're in the caves and your guy is roaming around, you're controlling him, but your headlamp, your spotlight is attached to your head. So like you're running your guys moving around and you're looking around the cave for enemies and stuff. I thought that was a really cool way to do it, and it's unique. You can't get the same experience playing flat, or you know what I mean? Like it made you feel like you were in that cave, right? And so it goes against everything that everybody says. Everything has to be first person to be in VR. And this is a perfect example. The gameplay is so fun as I'm climbing up these ice walls and as I'm sneaking around these enemies, and the sound it's like I'm so much more immersed than, I don't care if I'm in first person or not. I just think that this game was made to be played like a flat game, but I kept thinking, man, this is exactly what I've been talking about with these games coming into PlayStation VR 2 and it being okay, and how people will love it because it'll be their favorite IP, as they've always known it, but now they're in the world and you're still seeing it on the scale that this guy is, because as you can see, your camera is not too much higher than where he's at, right? So I just think
Yeah.
it's done very well.
If I did have one complaint about this game, though, it's the camera. That would be it. There's literally no control over the camera. You just go where they put you, and you can't rotate or anything.
Yeah, they need that would be nice because that's a traditional thing. I think they wanted you to move to turn around a little bit more, but I guess that wouldn't even make sense as far as when it came out. The Rift had one camera, right? Maybe two. So
Yeah. That's pretty much my only complaint here. And you know, with this game coming out when it did, it was probably some kind of a consideration that they made, trying to keep people from getting sick, right? If they have complete control of the camera, then they know you're not going to be spinning around everywhere and throwing up in your lap.
that's true. I did notice too. Also, there's no absolutely zero graphics. Like they had sound. I could turn the sound up, and I was like, "Where's my slide? I want to turn shit up." I couldn't do it, so I had to rely on Super Sample.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I had to do as well. Gamertag's asking if we're going to cover Chronos.
That's
Chronos,
a good one too.
Chronos is a very good one, and it's a game that that's a fucking hard game, dude. And talking about camera angle being weird, but it's such a good game. Very because our whole thing is to talk about the best of the best games that people have forgotten about, GT. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah, I could see that happen. You ever play Chronos, Eric?
I played like a little bit of it just to go in and check it out, but I never went very deep in it, and I would love to go back to it. And it was years ago too. Now probably 2 years ago, maybe.
No, the whole crutch of it is when you die, you age, right?
Age.
So you're like you're trying to balance because there's like certain things you can't, like, just like when you get old, you lose strength, you don't gain your strength, so you kind of have to balance what attributes you want to get early, right? So it's pretty cool.
It's one of the earliest implementation of RPG style progression in a VR game. Really good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Edge of Nowhere.
Show you, though, these games were great in 2016, but they stopped making them, right? They stopped doing these games like Chronos and like Edge of Nowhere. Like, it just
Thank
gave
you,
up on 'em.
Oculus Quest. Thank you for ruining it for everyone.
They just gave up.
Yeah, you can't get Chronos on a mobile chip, bro.
No, or Edge of Nowhere. I don't think you get that on the Quest.
Yeah, that's true. That. Anyway, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this game, this is a third-person, heavily story-driven psychological horror game with platforming elements. And what would you say, Eric? Probably 75% of the gameplay is platforming and stealth, right?
I love the platforming. I love the stealth. I mean, you do get a weapon in this game, but it's like secondary. You almost have no ammo, and if you use it, you're gonna get screwed because if you make noises, you're gonna get surrounded quick. I mean, this is one of those games where you have to like make noises to distract them so you can sneak through. It's so good. The ice pick climbing is so good. This is a classic platformer. Jumping from those couple of those scenes that, like, especially you see them here in the video. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but there's a couple of those scenes where you're doing that platformer where you're running on, glaciers that are collapsing underneath you, or they give you that white knuckle fear, and especially when you're doing it in VR, man, it's like so much more immersive. It's so good. It really is so good. But you're right, Wes. The story is another star here because the story is freaky, whacked out, freaky.
And acting, everything's good. This is legit AAA, man. Like it's. I was noticing that with the story and the journal, man. Like I was flipping through the journal after I'd been playing a little bit, and every journal you stumble on from other people, you're finding different people from this excavation or whatever, and so you can go back and look through and piece through this whole story. It's really cool.
This game actually is one of the earliest VR entries from Insomniac Games, which have since gone on to be purchased by Sony with their entire catalog. Rich, do you think it's at all possible that we could see a remake of this game one day on PlayStation?
I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't a release title. Why not for PSVR 2, an upgraded version? They're gonna have a lot of titles that they want to have filled out there, and why not? And if not, someday it's definitely worth bring it over to that platform for sure.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I don't know that we ever would. just based on what we were talking about earlier. It still kind of has 2016 controls, but I guess it wouldn't be that hard for them to redo the control scheme in this, Eric, right?
Yeah, it'd be super easy. Especially if they own it, so they could change whatever they need to change with it. I think they own it, right? Or did you think Oculus owns it? Because this was an Oculus exclusive too, so I don't know how that
Could
works.
be, yeah, it could be either way.
Um,
Definitely, we've seen different examples of this where Oculus funds these games and publishes them, and sometimes they'll pop up on Steam, and sometimes they don't. So it's really kind of up in the air.
yeah, but to me, I would love to see them do the Uncharted with this engine. You know what I mean? They're not, or with this kind of idea.
Oh
Have
yeah.
have Insomniac do Uncharted. That's that because this is that game. If you played it exactly, look at the screens and the shots. It's exactly how you'd want to play Uncharted, man. And this just gives you the. Can you imagine doing that train scene in Uncharted where that train is just like completely hanging off the cliff and you're basically vertically climbing up through the train, and you could do it just like this, and it would be
I did that. It's
fantastic.
called Frack.
It is called Fract. I love that.
But see that's the thing. Like they could easily do any of these games. Tomb Raider would be another great game for this
Yeah,
type.
exactly.
Like there's a reason why these games do well, and because they're fun to play, and the movement and everything is great. And so there's going to be some developers that are just like there's ones that people that do retro games that are going to say, you know what, I want to bring people into VR, but I want to keep that same basic control scheme. And this would be a perfect one. They wouldn't even have to change anything. So
So you start here with a canvas of, AAA production, right? Great graphics and sound, voice acting, all that stuff. Awesome. The platforming and stealth alone, good enough to make this game a fun game. The story and the storytelling in the game is what takes a good game and makes it great. But Roots, you know, what I feel like kind of puts it over the top and kind of puts it in a rarefied air are the boss fights. We talk often about how scale can really have a visceral effect on the player, and it's difficult sometimes when you're playing a third person game in VR to really get a full grasp on the scale. But when you're in this game and you first step out in front of one of these gigantic bosses, I mean it really is intense, right?
yeah, absolutely, man. It's another example of why you don't have to be in first person to feel fear for your character. Like death is death. Falling off a cliff is still falling off a cliff. You still have that vertigo feeling when you see that big fall, and you still have that, oh my God, when something huge is there, you're having to attack or hide from or whatever. Like Eric said, that this game does a really good job of making you want to run off that, away from that shit, get away without jumping or fighting or whatever. They do a really good job. So.
Eric, have you ever faced a larger foe than the one that you face about midway through this
Oh
game?
my God, that thing is crazy. I mean, it's just insane how big it is. And again, I just go back to holy crap, this is a 2016 game. I mean,
Right.
that little kind of scene or battle that you do is it's epic. I mean, that's how you say it, size wise, it's epic. It reminds you of scenes in Farpoint with the size of some of those bosses in Farpoint. They're huge, and
It's great. It kind of reminds you of like an old school boss battle too, because it comes in phases, right? You have a stealth phase at the beginning where you're trying not to be seen. Then that kind of bleeds into a platforming phase because this gigantic boss is literally taking the ground out from underneath your feet, and then you end it as a shooter, which is awesome as well. It reminds you of really what games were just before this game came out, right? It feels like one of the old traditional games that we were playing when VR came along.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and this is the big thing is at least for me, my love for platforming went nowhere. I love platforming games. I've my whole life. I've the biggest game that I loved. And so bringing VR and platforming together is amazing to me. You know what I mean? Like I would love to play Mario this way. You know what I mean? There's just certain games that there's a reason why they're good, and they just don't need to be fucked with. And somebody in the chat says options, which we always say options are good, first and second, first and third person options or whatever. But just like certain games like V Rising or top down only, like there's a feel. Some developers are they're gonna want that retro feel for the controls. I guarantee it. That being said, I would rather have options. I don't know which one I would choose. I think it would be cool to do this in first person. But I think if I was having a dice pick, I think that would kind of get old. Like there's certain things that just wouldn't flow as well. And so then you have to question, okay, so now what are they going to do with that? They're going to have to change that a little bit. So.
Skip button. They would put a skip button on it.
Yeah,
But,
right.
I mean, if you were to put a skip button on that, I mean, we said it at the front, like 75% of the game is platforming and stealth. If you skip that, what do you got left?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Eric, the environments in this game, they tend to be a bit samey. I mean, they do switch it up a bit, and it's always really refreshing when they do. But, most of the game looks similar. Did you find yourself getting tired of looking at eyes?
Nope. It's so good. I don't know what it is about these types of settings, but I love this. I'm a huge fan of like movies like The Thing. The Thing was John Carpenter's the original, probably one of my top 5 movies. I was just a huge fan of that movie. I love the setting. Anything in ice like this. We didn't mention the sound yet either. Sound is so good. The crunching of the snow underneath your feet is just so good. But yeah, the environments here, I love them. I would have been fine if I stayed in the Arctic area the whole time, but you do change up a little bit. You do go into some town area, later on too. So yeah, I mean they change it up, but for me, this area is so cool, man.
I think Roots, that the docks and then the town might have been my favorite environment out of the entire game. It's kind of a shame how quickly it goes by.
Yeah, it was definitely a flash in the pan. It was quick, and I still at first didn't know exactly what was happening at that point. But I feel like the story was so good and so intriguing, and everything was pulling you through that I didn't find myself getting bored with any environments because I didn't know what to expect around every corner. And they did such a good job of keeping everything up in the air, especially with just the strangeness, right? Or like you said, Wes, the one of the best things in VR is like when everything starts getting weird and changing on you, and there's a point in this where you start to question what you're seeing, because you go in the beginning and you're like, you feel like, okay, this is what is up, but after a while you're like, okay, what is happening? It's so good.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about this game is the surrealism that they use from time to time. Something like you mentioned that what we've talked about many times, that there's not enough of this type of thing in VR. VR is so well suited to kind of get this frame of mind across, right? Where you're kind of losing grip on your sanity and things are changing around you. This game does it very well. And again, we're talking about a 6-year-old game here. This is where VR started at. And now we're playing Cooking Simulator VR, as Eric likes to point out. Like, where did we go wrong, Eric?
Yeah, and again, I'm okay with the Cooking Simulator VR, but does everything have to be a cooking? The problem is we don't get any of these games anymore. All we get is the other shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Have a couple of those. Have those for the people that want to play those. I'm okay with that, even though sometimes I say otherwise. I really am okay with that. But don't cancel, Splinter Cell VR so we can make more, money making some shit, simulator game that I don't want to play. Some who wants to do time management in VR? I don't want to do that. I want to play fucking Edge Nowhere. I want to play Firewatch. I want to play great games. I want to play deep games. And I'll pay $60 for a game, but I don't want to pay $30 for a freaking cooking simulator game that I can play mobile, sitting on the shitter.
Roots, I bet you in a year would be begging for Garden of the Sea.
Oh man, somebody was
Game of the
just
year.
saying Garden of the Sea. Somebody was said it was game of the year. No, of
It's
course.
up for it.
I'm not a big Animal Crossing person. I don't know the difference between the two. I get that people like it, but it's just not for me. These AAA games, or at least the AAA level games, it's all that we're in a weird phase. We've been in a weird phase before, and right now it's like GT was saying in the chat that PCVR is for the most part dead, except for the mods. And these mods, this is where I'm at, GT. I don't want to play a lot of these games that are coming out that are brand new, built from the ground up, because they're not on the level of these flat games that are so deep. I'd rather play the flat VR mod of Red Dead 2 or whatever. And it doesn't mean that there's not like the Red Dead or the Red Matter 2s and the Saints and Sinner 2 and the amazing games that are coming out. It's just I don't want to play every fucking game out there anymore. I'd rather play a lot of these really deep games that have a mod. And that's where PCVR is kind of filling that niche right now, right? But
Yeah.
there's just nobody's funding it. This is exactly what we said was going to happen with Oculus when they pulled their money, is everything dried up. But we'll get that next stage with PlayStation VR 2.
I completely feel what you're talking about here, Roots, because, typically we try to cover 3 games on the show. Again, we want to do a classic game, we want to do a mod, we want to do a new release. The only new release that we had on the docket for this week was Walkabout Mini Golf and the Labyrinth course that just came out that everybody loves, and it's great. But after spending a month playing AAA VR and AAA games in VR through mods, I got to be honest, Labyrinth might have been the coolest course that I've seen in Walkabout Mini Golf, but I was a bit underwhelmed when I was in there yesterday. And I don't think it's any kind of condemnation on that game, but after playing AAA game after AAA game after AAA game, mini golf just doesn't seem like it's all that anymore. And we kind of took it off the docket here today because literally all I had to say about the new Walkabout course is that it's cool. It's really cool. But again, putting it against this and Farpoint and Red Dead 2 and Firewatch and all the stuff that we've been playing, I was looking forward to getting into After the Fall when I was playing mini golf last night. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone there, but that's just kind of how I felt.
To me, it's about who you're playing with Walkabout. I mean, they make incredible courses, that's for sure. The game is great to play. I mean, especially when you're using one of those putting, peripherals, whether like the Hello Reel or the Mr. Tass. They're great. I mean, and it's like feels like you're playing mini golf. But to me, it's about going in. I can get in there with 8 people now. I can get in there and hang with Wes and Ruth and Traveling Man.
And by the way, we were
Onakazi.
in there with a bunch of great guys yesterday, and I had a
Great
blast
group.
playing it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I had fun hanging out with all these people, except for Eric.
That's because I was lagging every 10 seconds. But yeah, I mean, I get exactly what you mean. I mean, it's not, again, for that game there, I'm not getting it. Like, I don't go in and play Walkabout Mini Golf by myself, ever. Like, I would never just get in and go play by myself. It's not a game I
Right.
would want to go into to do that. But I want to go in and play with you or Roots or, D or, Gamer Chick or, any number of people, anybody from the community I would love to get in and play with, because it's the act, it's playing, it's fun. It is cool courses. It's beautiful. But again, is it deep gameplay? No. And am I playing it by myself? I just don't. I don't think I've ever played the game by myself.
I had one wow moment. We played the front 9 of the Labyrinth course yesterday, and I had one wow moment. And it's when you go into that cave, and the hands are all sticking out of the walls and moving around on the floor. When I stepped into that, I was like, wow, this is really cool. But that was it, Roots. Like, does the back 9 have many more of those
The
moments?
last one was, there's a couple that were pretty cool, like what's that famous painting with all the staircases like in different directions and going up and down, upside down, all that stuff.
The Escher.
Yeah, so there's some pretty cool ones, but it's this is the way I look at it anymore. Like I play a lot of flat games still. and I don't run out and play every flat game. I play the good ones. Why would I be expected to be any different in VR? You know what I mean? And I feel like as we have been around and in VR, the longer we're in, our tastes change, right? Our palate changes, and we start looking for that deeper experience. And we want that AAA. There, somebody, I guarantee they spent way more money on this Edge of Nowhere than they did on Walkabout Mini Golf or any game that's out these days. And that goes for Red Dead 2, hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a reason why these games are so good. There's a lot of money and time invested in it, and you can tell, and it's not a knock. It's really, I think it's just a personal preference anymore. And I will add, I really had a lot of fun playing Walk. I love mini golf, but I'm not saying that it's something I want to do every day.
Well, I'll admit I was a little bit nervous in there because it's such a big palatial estate. I was expecting the FBI to bust in at any moment looking for documents.
They might have been. Probably still have.
GT says I don't want to play by myself, but he says, who does want to play with herself?
My mom.
She loves it. She prefers a partner.
Yeah, she does.
Anyway, what does this game retail at, Roots? Is it $30? $40?
I think it's $30, $29.99. Let me check. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to.
Still that price?
I'll tell you what. I think it might have been originally 40, but I don't think I'm going to be able to tell since I own it.
I mean, quality wise, it's. I mean, again, 2016 game, but quality wise, it's still there. I mean, if this game released today, I think I would give this a 10 today.
Yeah, the story.
And I think it should be it should be $40 today.
Yeah, I would give it. I don't know if I could go 10. 10's perfect. I would give it a 9.5. We do mark off for the camera controls and the a little bit of sameness with the environments, but it's pretty close to perfect. We're talking about it for a reason. We're talking about it in the context of what is the best of the best that VR has, and this was the first game we chose to cover.
$20.
So that should tell you something.
It's $20.
$20.
Yeah, $20.
Should anyone hesitate?
Steal.
$20. That's a steal.
Should anyone hesitate for a moment to buy this for $20?
No, man. The only reason I would say hesitate, and there's some people that might, like if you don't like horror at all, and it's not graphic horror, it's just freaky, like it's probably done the best stealth I've ever. I mean, you really don't want to be found by these guys. But it's
the
that'd be
audio
about the
is
only
super
thing.
good. The audio is creepy as shit, and you're using a flashlight in these dark caves, and a lot of times you can't see stuff, and you hear shit slithering around, you hear stuff moving, and you're trying to be quiet, and if you get seen, you're done because they'll just freaking be all over you. It is tense and creepy, man.
How about when you go? I don't know how far you made it, Wes, but when you get really far in and you start to see like a lot of what's going on, and it's just like it's just so crazy, man.
Returnal vibes, right?
Yeah.
When you get to the center of this thing, it looks like Returnal.
Yeah. It's very impressive. Very, I don't want to say overwhelming, but like if I came across that and that was like what I ran into in real life, I don't know how this dude does it, man. Because I would be like, oh my God, like what is happening? Crazy.
Yeah.
After the scene with when you meet the professor, I forget what his name is, but after you finally catch up to that guy and get out on the other end and kind of realize what just happened, yeah, I think that would be the moment that I lost my last marble. Like that would have been the end for me.
You just curl up in a corner somewhere in fetal position.
Yeah, because you have to be questioning everything at that point, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I envy people like Guido and like Troy Gillis, who just got a PC, and and Dee, who's about to do PC, get her PC set up. I mean, they can go in and play this game right now for $20, man. That's so good. And it would be if for any of those guys, I would be one of the first games I buy.
Yeah.
Wild Hour the Game Cat says, was Sony expecting to have 80 million PS5s to sell PSVR to in use early next year? Fingers crossed it shakes up VR everywhere, which I do think it will. I think we're going to have a new era of AAA VR, and PC will benefit from that with cross-platform games. But The question is, do I spend thousands on PCVR today, or do I just wait a bit to see what happens? Now, that's a good question. That's a tough question to answer because everyone has different financial situation and everyone has, something different that they're looking for when they're gaming. I would say that the biggest selling point today for PCVR are the mods. Am I wrong about that?
I think
100%.
that is. I think it is. I mean, not only that, but I mean, there's other reasons as far, but the mods absolutely. Like, I can't play Red Dead Redemption 2 on PlayStation VR 2, and I would say that, look to the people in the last couple of years that couldn't get a PC. I think it's still a good investment. You can do so much more with it than just PC VR, right?
Eric, oh yeah. If you have other uses for the PC, it's a no-brainer. Like for me, I was a little bit underwhelmed when I came to PC VR, but my computer was a great investment because it's what has allowed me to do the channel and all the content that we've done is because I have such a strong computer. So for me, I have no regrets with it. Eric, but if you're not looking to do that sort of stuff and you're just staying within the context of gaming, could you justify spending a couple of grand on a VR platform that doesn't get big budget exclusives anymore? There's a bunch of indie games that come out all the time that are exclusive to PC VR, but the big budget exclusives, those are over and they've been over for a while.
Yeah, and we talk about things in cycles. It was Quest time for a long time, and then it was PlayStation time for a long time. Then it was Quest time, and then it was PC time for a little bit, and now it's about to be PlayStation time again. And I do think eventually we will come back around, and you will see PC come back again, and it might start with these with prices of all
Cloud gaming.
these.
Cloud's what's
Uh,
going to bring it back. Cloud
yeah,
PC.
yeah,
I think.
exactly. Where you don't have to have a huge rig at your house. You can do. Who was saying the other night? We were playing with somebody in Walkabout the other night. Said that they were using Pluto Sphere for all their for PC gaming. Was it Hack the Game Cat? It might have been Hack the Game
It
Cat.
was one of them that said that they were using Pluto Sphere. That's right.
But I would say right now, would I invest thousands in a PC if I wasn't going to do anything with it but game? I probably wouldn't, especially if you are already living in the PlayStation ecosystem and you have games there. I'd probably wait and I guess, or I'd go to Quest and get that. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you want to wait. I mean, if you're not doing anything right now, or if you don't have any headset right now, what are you going to play? I mean, I want to play VR now today. So if I don't have anything, I'm gonna probably either go get a PSVR 1 or I'm gonna get a Quest 2, and then I'll wait and I'll get the PlayStation VR 2, I think. But I
Uh,
hate to say that because I'm such a PC fan, but I mean,
Well, after we
Yeah.
just raved about all the PC VR AAA mods and how it's hard to go back to all those other games, like I can't imagine not having
yeah,
these mods. You know what I mean? Like, it's, to me, it's the sanity that's keeping my mind
Yeah.
going. But everybody's in a different place, and it
right.
depends on
It's
how
all
much
money,
money
right?
you have to
Exactly.
invest, right? It's because it is. I don't know, man. I still think PCVR is, you still have some of the best games out there that you can't play, like Half-Life Alyx. We have another Half-Life coming out. That's probably going to be exclusive, at least for a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll be on
What
PSVR too.
what if you
The
had to
Vertigo.
choose?
What's that?
What if you're somebody who has to choose now? So there are many people out there on a budget. We're all on some type of budget. What if you were like, all right, look, I got to make a decision. I got a PlayStation 5 already. Am I waiting, saving up, and getting a PSVR 2, or do I invest in a PC right now? And then where do you
Yeah,
go?
there's no contest for me. If I had to sell my PC to get a PSVR 2,
Wow.
that's what I'm doing. That's
Wow.
100% what I'm doing. I'm in this
There
for
are going to be a
gaming
lot of
first,
people in
bro.
that situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that really we kind of started this conversation off with the answer. I think if the mods entice you, there's a lot. There's a lot PC has to offer, not just in like the full VR mods, but now we're talking about Reshade and Vorpex and things that allow you to play flat games on a huge 3D cinema screen in VR. If that sort of thing appeals to you, then literally you have the entire catalog of flat games that you can now play in 3D. I don't think we've came across one, have we, Roots, that we haven't been able to play in some form of 3D? Cuphead's the only one. Everything else you can play in 3D.
Damn it.
Crazy.
I love Cuphead.
Cuphead won't play in 3D, huh?
I haven't. Well, at the time when it came out, I looked for a good mod or a good Vortex profile, and there was nothing at the time. They may have cracked it since then.
Yeah, maybe a reshade. I own that, so that's actually a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gamertag does make a good point with the prices now. I mean, it's not. We all said we're all still in that mentality that a card is going to cost you $2,000. I mean, you should be able to go out and build a PC right now for $700, $800 and get a decent card. Maybe under $1,000.
Probably find a secondhand 1080 Ti for what, $400 or $500? For sure.
I think you could probably. I think you could build a 2070 or a 2080 for probably $800.
You can get a fucking 3080 for $800.
No. I mean, building the whole rig. I think you can build the whole PC.
Oh yeah.
You can go get a used 2070 or used 2080, and probably build the whole rig, and for under right around $700-800.
Okay, well, and that's a good point. And Gamertag, he's right. He says it's not really all that different in terms of price between getting a PS5 and a PSVR 2. We assume, and building a low to mid range PC with the Quest 2 as a headset. If you had to choose either or, though, which one of those do you take, Eric? Mid to low range PC VR with the Quest headset, PS5 plus PSVR 2.
Sell your kidney, get both.
There you go.
Sell
like
everything in your fucking house until you can get both. I mean, I'm telling you right now, anybody right now who's thinking about needs to be saving, quit smoking, stop driving to work and start pedaling your ass to work, save on gas and get both. Because I don't see how I could choose right now. I know I'm going to get a PlayStation VR 2. And we're going to have to buy them just like everybody else. Sony's not sending us shit, guys. We're not. Brian Paul's not going to get a headset from Sony. We are not getting a headset from Sony. We are going to have to buy them. Just like we're going to have to buy any other headset from Meta. So we're going to have to buy them too. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have both. And I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do it too, just like everybody else.
Good to be putting that B haptics up for sale, putting that wheel up for sale. I keep looking at it like I know your days are numbered, bro. As soon as they announce, you're out of here.
Gamer Tech says, "There goes my kidney."
Yeah. True. Wild Hour, the game cat. I would for Red Dead and Half-Life, but I'll wait for a bit. Hey, you know that the Half-Life 2 VR beta is coming up in September, open public beta.
So good, man.
Yeah,
it's
great
good.
already.
And that was 2 months ago we played that game, right, guys?
Yeah, for me with a completely different rig, and I don't know.
It was great.
Probably you guys as well.
For me.
It's crazy. I can't imagine not having either, but this is the reality, man. Like I can't imagine not being in Red Dead 2. So much so that I want to tell Luke Ross, fuck you one more time, because like it's such a good mod and everybody should be playing it. You know what I mean? Like it's the best game I've played in VR this year, probably, just because I've enjoyed the game so much.
I agree. It really is first world problems for us, right? Like we can't spend the kind of time we want with any one of these, but it's okay because there's like 50 other things that we want to play as well. So we're just going to go on a loop, man. We'll just keep swinging back around. We'll get a little more Red Dead in, a little more Firewatch in, a little more Half-Life 2. And then Horizon Forbidden Mountain, when that comes out, it's over. It's all over. Ghostbusters, yeah.
We need somebody who's investing billions and billions of dollars in the VR. Go, you know what? That channel, Virtual Strangers, those guys need a break. We need to put them to work on just playing VR games.
Yes,
that's what we need.
Hey man, real recognizes real. One of these days we're gonna get recognized for keeping it real from day one here.
I like it. I'm down.
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up our show for this week. I want to thank everyone who showed up and showed out in the chat. I want to thank everyone who's watching at home on the replay. I want to thank the audio listeners, Roots. It didn't even occur to me Like in the last week, I've had a couple of comments on the videos that I would like to enter the giveaway. And I'm wondering what's up with these people entering the giveaway late. It's probably audio people, right?
It's possible, although my instructions were specifically to message you or me on Discord. But I guess it could be as well. So
Could be,
I mean, we
right?
might have to just throw everybody's name in there, because as far as I know, I only got one person. I don't know. Did anybody message you on the Discord? I only got one person.
Not in
message me.
Discord, no. I've got a few comments on YouTube, though, over the last few days. So,
So
I got 20
Maybe.
messages. I didn't tell you guys.
so audio listeners, pay attention to our recent uploads. There's specific instructions on there for you to enter the Shock Troops giveaway. I guess we'll let it run for another week, Root, so that they have plenty of time. And we will inform you guys via audio or via social media who the winners of that giveaway are. We try to include everyone here, including our audio listeners. So
Yep.
shout out to all of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, if I could tease too, tomorrow night, we got Skiba and Alex coming on.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to come hang out with us. We're going to talk a little bit of Game On convention that we were at last week. So it should be a lot of fun.
Nice.
How was that, by the way? Did you have fun down there in the dry
It's
Southwest?
so goddamn hot in Phoenix. I don't know how they live there. It's 108 degrees during the day. We walked out of the convention one night. It was like 10:30, and it was 103 degrees still. It's
See,
so
what's-
weird when it's
well,
that late
this is
at
the
night.
thing,
It's
though,
still that
Mash.
hot.
That's not so bad. When you walk out and you have 103 degrees humidity hit you in the face, like in Florida,
Yeah.
then it's like it literally almost knocks you off your. But it's still hot, right? 103 degrees at midnight is crazy.
Yeah, and people are all like, "Oh, it's a dry heat. It's not that bad." Dude, it's like being in an oven, dude. So Florida's like being in a sauna. It's like being in an oven when you're out there. I mean, to the point where like your eyes dry out. Like you have to like keep blinking because your eyes just dry out from the heat so quick. But it's a beautiful city, man. I loved it there. We had a
Phoenix
blast.
is beautiful. I'll tell you what, it's a litmus test. If you go outside and it's too hot to the point where you're like, oh my God, it's too hot, you're dehydrated. If you're properly hydrated, it doesn't matter how hot it is, how hot it gets, you might feel uncomfortable. But when you get to that point where you're like, oh my God, I can't, it's just too much, it's because you're dehydrated. And most people just don't have enough water in their body.
Yeah,
So-
and Awesome Tatum just reminded me. I did meet kind of a bit of a crush of mine.
Oh, yeah?
I'd meet the man, John Riggs. I got to chat with him. For
Oh
a
yeah,
while.
yeah. Riggs was down there. You're right.
Riggs was there, man. He came by the booth. He's
Nice.
so cool, dude.
I thought you were going to
So
get
cool.
yourself in trouble with Stephanie.
No,
Yeah, you're married, bro.
different type of
You're not a
different
crush
type
of anybody.
different
dude.
type of crush. Dude, Riggs is big into VR too, man. He likes his VR.
yeah.
He likes his Quest. He's a big fan. He doesn't do a lot of PC gaming, but he definitely does some Quest 2 gaming. And,
Well, what does he
he's a big
think?
fan.
Did you ask him about Garage
Take a shit
Collective and
simulator?
some of those people, right? All the people that
No,
are all
yeah, he
retro,
loves
right?
that stuff. Oh my god, anything retro that guy's all into, man. He's so good. But yeah, he came
Yeah,
by the
did,
booth a couple different times, and he cosplays too, man. He was dressed up as he was cosplaying as who's the evil guy in Sonic.
Dr. Robotnik.
Robotnik, that's it. With the big mustache. He had the big freaking handlebar mustache that came out to like here. It was so cool.
Nice. I think you should
Love me some
cosplay
Riggs.
at the next thing, Eric. You should be Captain America.
I'm in. I
your
got the shield.
with you.
Got the
Yeah.
shield. It was cool.
You have your character for Fortnite too.
I do, yeah.
I don't remember.
Love-
It wouldn't
love
let me buy it that night. Son of a
I
bitch.
know you missed it. Damn
It
it.
was gone, dude. Bastard.
Yeah, it was cool. We did over 1,000 VR demos there, guys, and it was amazing, man. It was so good. And,
How were people's reactions? A lot of people that never
it wa-
tried VR before. Or?
Yeah, we had like the mix. We had a mix of people because we did have a couple of big headsets there. We had 2 Pimax 8KXs there, the new ones. And there was some people that were like literally came to the booth just to say like, what headset do you have? I want to try. They were like, do you have a Valve Index? And we're like, no, we don't have an Index. We got 2 Pimaxes, but we had people that were there that were looking just to try the high ends, and then we had people there that had never touched VR before. And we had 11 different setups, and like we had a Ritchie's plank set up on a Rift S with an actual plank with like a 4x4 plank, which was pretty cool.
You know, I've still never done that. That's kind of like the oldest
Really?
VR trick in the book. But I've never done the Richie's plank with the actual plank in real life.
Really? You should do the horror mode, or what is it, nightmare mode or something? You type 666 on the elevator.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
right,
don't
right.
know, something like that. With those big spiders and shit. Is that what you're talking
There's
about?
all sorts of shit happening. It's actually pretty cool,
We-
and you can play it for free on Viveport Infinity, or you used to be able to.
Yeah.
Though they have the it's not Richie's, it's the other one. The generic plank
The
game.
generic Step
What was
Brothers
it called?
version.
Like another plank or something like that.
Yeah. It's same. It's same.
Oh, you're
We
right.
did have a propagation VR set up though with one of the Pimaxes
Awesome.
and X40. That was freaking some people out, man.
I want to play Beat Saber.
I had 2 Beat Sabers.
Did
I had 2
anybody
Beat Sabers, and it was there, and we had lines for people just waiting to do Beat Saber.
for real?
Lines. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
it was
god,
terrible.
that must have
hated
been.
it. I hated it every
Eric's
second of it.
Eric's eye is
I'm
twitching.
like, I'm
the
not
whole
doing the
time.
Beat Saber booth, dude. I will not do the Beat Saber booth. I was covering 5 quests, running Demio, Job Simulator, Swordsman, and Smash Drums with I brought my X16 haptic vest, so you can play Smash Drums on the X16. So
You know, I call myself an ambassador for VR, but you're living it, bro. If you're doing all that, you're living it, man.
Did you-
Kudos
did
to
you-
you.
Did
it
you
was
show
all. It was a
him-
team, man. It
Did
was
you
a
show
team.
him hand tracking with unplugged?
Oh, no, it's
Oh.
garbage. No, I'm just kidding. This schema works for Vertigo. You better not say that. No, we didn't do any.
I think
hand tracking.
it's the limitations. It's not them. It's the technology. It's as good as it is, and it's what it is. So,
Maybe it's time to try it again with the new 2.0
maybe.
hand tracking. I haven't been in there in a long, long time, so
It
I
is
don't know. I just
better.
haven't
It
heard
is-
anybody talking about it, but maybe it's time.
Yeah, it's legitimately better, like noticeably better. Although I haven't done like unplugged in it, I've just tried some other marginal things, and I'll switch back to controllers really quickly because I mean it could be the best hand tracking in the world, but I need feedback, man. In most cases, so even though it does work a lot better, it's still kind of not my thing.
Yeah, same here.
yeah.
That's not there yet.
I
but
think
it's
it's
getting
going to be amazing for consumption of media, for people
I think it's
watching
gonna be amazing.
Netflix and all that kind of stuff. But for gaming, it's not there yet.
I think it's going to be amazing for prawn.
Yes, well, and that's the media right there.
Who doesn't want prawn?
Finger
Well-
tracking, bro. Come on, think of the
And eye
possibility.
tracking, finger tracking. They're going to
What about
know
lip tracking?
way too much about
Tongue and lip
you.
tracking.
Anyway, this is going off the rails quickly. I'm going to go ahead and call it. And thanks again to everyone who showed up, everyone who's watching it tomorrow. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll be notified next time that we go live. Wait a minute. I have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
I called out Mirrorwind last night, man, because you remember they had that RU-77 game, that like cyberpunk shooter that was supposed to come out, and it just dropped off the face of the earth, and everything we've heard from Mirrorwind since then has been flat games. Redemption of the Damned. They have 2 or 3 flat games they're working on. So I went on their Discord last night and said, "What's up? What's up with RU-77? Are you guys even doing VR still?" And literally, as I'm signing off, they just now replied to me. So
Nice.
let's see what they have to say.
Yeah. RU-77,
Um,
is that the one that was like Blair's game?
It's more of a shooter, but it's got
Yeah,
that
but-
flavor to it.
But that's the one
Yeah.
that we were talking about not too long ago. We saw a trailer, didn't we not? And then we were like, which game do you think is coming first? And we were like, we thought.
Oh no, you're
RU-77.
talking about Lawn.
Well, that's it, Lon. Yeah, right. You're right.
All right. So according to Mirrorwind, they had stopped development on RU-77 for a moment, but they have recently resumed work on it. So the project will be completed and released. So still coming. RU-77 from
I have to
Unless
look
they
now. I don't
change their
remember this
mind.
game.
You don't remember?
unless
it?
they're
I don't.
lying, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Is there's no reason to admit. Until the day that you cancel it. We'll dance. and then
Anyway.
not saying
Click
that.
all the stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Click all the stuff. Click the thumbs up. Click the red one. Click the bell so that you'll be notified next time we go live. hit us up on Discord. There's an invitation in the description down below. That's where we're hanging out 24/7, talking about games, talking about UFC, and sharing cartoons and music with one another, playing multiplayer games. It's where we live. Come live with us. The front door is in the description down below.
Yep.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Eric and Roots, I'm Wes. See you soon. Bye.
Take it easy.
See you later.